Ladies, gents, welcome in. This video is for the women who are unable to get their point across, who have trouble communicating with men, have trouble getting what she desires, have trouble getting essentially what she wants. Like, she's not able to get her point across, and she ends up fighting. She ends up discussing, having a fight with her partner for something silly. Hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello. We're talking about how to actually communicate with men and your partner. So let's get started. You know, there are so many women who have this problem that instead of, getting their message across, instead of like really tuning into who they are, into their energy, into like a woman's energy, instead of saying what she wants calmly, she lashes out. If this is you, stay, because we're going to talk about very insightful points, very interesting, an interesting perspective on this subject, so you can actually start bettering your relationships. Because if you're not able to communicate with your partner, you're probably very unhappy. You're probably very disappointed. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you. Happy Friday to you too, Sergio. Drink 6 cents energy drink. What? I've never tried that. Hello, don't stress. I never stress, babe. Love from the Netherlands. That's so cool that you're watching from there. Hello, Darren from Canada. Welcome in. We're talking about how to communicate with your partner. This video is exclusively for women, but if you're feeling called to stay, maybe you have some insight on communication. What do I do for work? So I actually I'm hosting a course on how to create an extraordinary relationship, and that's what I do. I have one course on relationship and how to actually attract and call in your divine and aligned partner. In that course, we talk about communication, which is a subject that we're going to touch on today. And we talk about the 99% and the 1%. We talk about how humans, we need something greater than us to be able to trust and to be able to surrender, to be able to puts us in this place of everything in this world is actually working for a greater cause, right? The course is essentially stuff that I've learned. I've taken so many courses on psychology, on childhood wounds, and it's basically my synthesis on how I was able to get engaged last year after rotational dating, after being an insecure woman, not knowing my worth, not being able to communicate with my partner, with previous partners. And essentially it's not only learning how to communicate with your partner, but like actually communicating in a loving, warm way with anybody. So I don't know, the course is amazing. So if you're feeling called, join. If you want to truly, you're missing all of these things that I just said, join the course, because I'm currently adding more chapters into the course as each week goes by, and the investment is going to go up as well. Okay. J155 says, can you explain to my wife that she's the problem and not me? If you're in a relationship and you're not willing to see her side of the story, I would say it's both of y'all's problem, not only her. When we tend to blame the other person, we're not able to even understand. No matter how wrong she is, we want to be able to understand. Does that make sense? Hello, James. Hello, Bulu. HTX says, what were you insecure about? Well, nothing. I think just like many other women, we walk around with 1,000 insecurities about ourselves without really knowing who we are and what we stand for. And we talk about those principles, about our values and things that actually matter. Because yes, insecurity may come from physical things, but it's way deeper than that. And when we actually have a foundation within ourselves, nobody's going to take that away from us. If I were to only be confident about the way that I look, it wouldn't mean anything. Alex says, I've been married for 20 years and haven't had a single word or fight. My wife and I treat her like my princess. That's so good. Congratulations. That makes me so happy, honestly. Hello, Evie. How do we build a good foundation? Brandon says, how do we build a good foundation? I don't know. The advice for this is not universal. I mean, yes, it's universal, but they vary for men and women. And we talk about this in the course. If you want a good foundation, for example, like a very basic example, something that you could do right now is, if you're going to say something, you're going to follow through. Essentially, you're not only following through, but you're actually building in your mind a mechanism that's called your self-esteem. And it's called the audience that we have in our brain. Every time you don't follow through, you're actually putting yourself in this in the audience. Instead of clapping for you every time you do something, every time that you don't, it's actually saying, I knew you weren't able to do it. So we have to override what that voice is saying. When you follow through, that's just one of the things that you can start doing today. It's not the only thing, but you can start doing today. Greetings from Croatia. Welcome in. Thank you so much for watching. Jim says, communication is the key. I listen to you and you listen to me. Yes, 1000%. But when we tend to blame, when we tend to insult the other person, we're not really communicating. We are actually judging the other person. We are almost violently, I can't say that word, communicating, and we're misinterpreting our message. When you're not able to get your message across, it's not only us listening to each other, but it's actually being able to calm down, not judge, and get your point across. Wait, are you guys able to see me? Hello, can you hear me? Hi. Let's see if this is working. I don't know what happened. It just went out. I got a phone call and my phone was not in do not disturb. Thank you, but are you able to hear me well and see me? Because I think some, I don't know. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Okay, great. So like I was saying, how are you actually communicating with your partner? This is actually a part of chapter 3 on how to get the man, how to attract the man that you want to have, to attract a provider man. And it's not about being things, but actually things that you can build a foundation. Remember what you're worth, and to be able to attract that partner. I am engaged. And if you're feeling called to join the course, please join, because this yesterday we did a class and course on how to actually become the woman who attracts that man. And we talked about how to actually do that. And today I am hosting the next part, which is communication, which is communication. We're going to talk about tone. We're going to talk about there's a few things that you have to do, which is voice out how you are feeling. Like, never blame your partner for whatever he did wrong. At the end of the day, you don't want to mother him. You don't want to tell him he did something wrong. I mean, yeah, he's allowed to do something wrong, but it's the way that you actually say it. So if you disagree with something that he's doing, you're not gonna say, hey, stop doing that. Like, no, you're actually gonna tell him how that makes you feel. It makes you feel unheard. It makes you feel like he doesn't listen to you. It makes you feel sad. It makes you feel angry. Like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention and you don't actually follow through with what you're doing, with what I ask you to do. You don't, when you're telling him how you feel, he can actually understand you. When we voice out our feelings to a man, they can actually relax, because we're not blaming them for what they're doing, but they are actually seeing how it makes us feel. This is essential. So we're gonna do that class, which I'm super excited because I can rant about this subject for a long time. I have a partner, I have a brother, I have a father, and for a long time I wasn't able to, really communicate something that was very important to me. And being able to know what I know now and being able to get my message across without getting emotional, without being confused about what that message is, I can finally communicate with the important people in my family, in my partner. So yes, join that course if you're being called to. Not a lot of women know how to do this correctly. Why? Because we tend to blame, we tend to lose it, we tend to scream, we tend to mother the partner we're with, and that's so tiring for you as a woman and for the man that's listening to you. Communication is key as always, Rixer says. Yes, 1000%. Eddie says that's a way to get to know with each other and learn to understand another person, because we are all individuals, and that's the beauty of life. Yes, beautifully put together. Thank you for your compliments. Do you have a Latina background? I was born in Peru, but I lived in the States since I was 10 years old, so. Eddie, smart and beautiful. I subscribe to your channel. Thank you for joining. I mean, I always give advice for women how to become the most authentic, the most magnetic, and essentially how to get the life that we desire for women. And all of my videos are how to do that. But if you join and you want to see, welcome. Yeah. Any advice for men? If you're a man watching my videos, I think I suggest, I think one of my clients, what my clients love is for a man to be driven. It's for a man to be a provider, but not like, whenever that's said, it's very, we tend to look at it in a certain way of like, oh, he has to give all, like what he has, like work, right? But that's not everything. To be driven about something that you love and to be able to make money out of that, I think that's something that me and my clients really love. That's a quality a man must have, kind of. What is a Peru? Peru is a country. And my mother, I love my mom. But we weren't talking about my mom. We were talking about like father figures and how to actually communicate with the opposite sex. That was my message. I have my mother. I talk to her almost every day. We are good now. We didn't have the best relationship before, but now it's amazing. I'm engaged. Hello from Germany. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, John. Welcome in. What's a red flag for you in a man? Someone that doesn't follow through. We actually talked about this in my... Oh, we actually didn't talk about red flags. We talked about green flags. But I'm going to share red flags. I do not judge a man from just one experience. So if my clients are dating for marriage, I tell them that this is actually taught in like psychology courses. So a man, or any person, not even only a man, any person is going to show their true selves eventually. So whenever you first meet someone, no matter if it's a woman or a man, they're going to show you their best side. Why? Because they want to impress you. Yeah, no, in both sides, in both genders. So how do we actually get to know them? But with time. With time, you're actually going to see the way that he treats other people, the way that he treats his family, the way that he treats his friends. Is he the same way? Is he consistent? Is he disciplined? Does he have a job? Sorry, you asked me for red flags, but I could only think about good things to say. I don't really. Red flag for me might be drugs. Like that was one of my non-negotiables. Like never even date or entertain someone that did drugs. I didn't want to be put in that situation, and anything that the person is addicted to. That's the only red flag I can give from the top of my head. It's where Machu Picchu is, yes. I'm very much driven, but I am black, and my female attraction is zero. It's zero. Mainly, what should I improve? Make a girl fall from me. You have to pursue. A man pursues. They go out and look for women, and essentially, someone's going to fall. Like, there is someone out there for you. You have to pursue. You cannot be afraid of rejection. And yes, if you are driven already, get yourself a house. I mean, get yourself, yeah, a place. Essentially, whenever you get a woman or someone, they make you upgrade. So you don't have to get a house right now. You'll upgrade whenever you get the girl or the woman. How are your teeth so white? I just wash my teeth. I love washing my teeth. I think it's one of the it's a male's job to initiate. Yes, 1000%. Hello from California. Hi, welcome in. Yes, this person, golf man. I like my fiance plays golf too. He says if you give it up right away, they will start showing their true colors. I also do not recommend to be intimate in the beginning at all. At all. They have to really show yeah, they have to really show who they are, and essentially men get tired. So you want to stay with someone who's willing to put in the work. For my ladies out there. Hello, beautiful. Welcome. Greetings from Argentina. Argentina. Love Argentina. John says, I have a question about you, ladies. What is it that triggers, or activate a woman to invest in a man? I would. That's hilarious. What do you mean invest? One second. What do you mean invest? Like provide for you? I'm sorry, but the type of advice that I give is the opposite. Yeah, sorry. Justin says, I believe in 50-50. I got a degree, ain't settling for no broke. Okay, yeah, there is a place for everyone in this world, so good luck, you know? It's not good for a man to initiate, otherwise the woman will get the black eye. I don't understand. John, I don't remember the question. No, emotionally invested. Wait, I'm gonna go back. Oh, okay. So he says, I have a question about you ladies. What is it that causes or triggers for a woman to activate a woman to invest in a man? But then he said, to emotionally invest in a man, you mean? I don't recommend my ladies to get emotionally invested, because we are naturally like that. We naturally give, yeah, at least my ladies, they naturally give so much that I do not recommend them to get out of their way to like, no, I think a man has to really show their in like really show up like for the women. Hello Monica, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello Cheyenne, thank you for joining me. Yours truly, my ex sister wants me, but I keep pushing her away. A part of me wants to give in since my ex is already in a relationship. What's your take on this? That's your own choice to make. I wouldn't be in that situation at all. Like, I wouldn't even want to be around my ex. Like, why would you even get yourself in that situation? Like, I don't even know if you're a man or a woman. A man should give their all for his lady, 1000%. Hello, welcome in, UK. Exactly. They're exes for a reason. So I wouldn't even want to be in that situation where I would have to face my ex because I'm dating my current. Like, no way. No way. Okay, would you like to reframe the question, John? So, if you're unable to get your message across, if you're a lady and you have this type of problem, tune in to your feminine side before you're about to lash out to your man. Remember that men hate being mothered by their wife, by their partner, by their girlfriend. Like, no. Tune into your feminine side. Like, actually ask yourself, is it really worth it? Are you gonna fight over a silly thing? If it's really that important to you, first actually voice out how that makes you feel, and then tell him what that situation is. So, and if you want to actually attract the man of your dreams, to be actually become the woman that magnetizes and attracts her divine union, her soul aligned relationship, join the course that is in the description box, because the investment is going to continue going up as I continue to add more chapters into the course. Okay. I love so much about talking about communication because it's so important, and it doesn't only help, like I said before, it doesn't only help the the person that you're with, but it enhances all of our relationships. Hello, welcome in. Um, this says open and honest communication is the cornerstone of all quality relationships. 1000%. Yes. Yes, and yet so many people struggle with having a healthy communication. So many people struggle to get their message across, and they end up feeling sad or crying because they feel like they're not being heard. Women, I say this because I used to be like that. I used to end up having discussions, for example, with my father, leaving the room and crying because I was not able to instead of lashing out and tell him whatever he did wrong, I would, instead of talking calmly, I would just lash out. There's so many things to take into consideration. It's not only voicing out your emotions, but actually looking at your tone, looking if you're reacting to something, looking at, are you blaming the other person? That's not really going to make each other understand. Yeah. Rock says best communication starts with proper pronunciation of words. 1000%. Yes. You have wisdom beyond your years, my friend. Thank you. I'm 30 years old. I think people my age should have this type of knowledge, wouldn't you say? Peace always for says dreams really. Any advice for broke man? Please get yourself a job. Please get yourself a job. That's all I have to say. No, I never bullied my father. He was like he's a very important person in my life. Never. So, Sora says, I'm in my engineering bachelor's in the middle of the course. I can't buy a home to pursue. So please advise me to get a house. Everything at the right time, you know? Just because I say get a house, like provide, like save up. I don't expect people to just like magically make that happen, but like have a long-term plan essentially. If you're a man, have a long-term plan. How long will it take you to get this a house, and essentially put in your timeline when would you want to settle down and actually marry a person, marry a woman, the woman that you want, you know? I don't understand the question, EC game. Greetings from Poland. That's so cool. Hello. Ricky, are you committed? I like engaged? I'm engaged. So anyway, ladies, if you want to get the man of your dreams, join the course, because after communication, we'll be talking about boundaries. We'll be talking about the woman who becomes that woman who attracts her soul divine relationship. Okay? Ricky says if you're a man with no job or government, it's an issue. I don't know if that was a question. There's no such thing as a man of your dreams. I truly believe there's a perfect partner. I don't mean literally perfect. What I mean is you're gonna get what you think is perfect. Does that make sense? Anyway, if you don't get the message, you just don't. Thank you so much for watching and joining me. This has been lovely, and I'll be waiting for you on next one. All right, thank you. Bye, guys. I'll see you in the next one.